Keeper of the Lost Cities Flashback, Chapter 12. This is not my doing either, Lady Zillah assured everyone when Sophie's headache spiked, sharp enough to make her gasp. How do you know? Adeline demanded, gently massaging the back of Sophie's neck, which helped a little. You're the only one trying anything right now. I suspect that's not true, Lady Zillah said, with a glance in Magnate Lita's direction that would have made Sophie wonder how much she knew about who he was, if her brain didn't currently feel like the Gorgodon was chewing on it. Lady Zillah's strange eyes turned darker as she tilted her head to study her. What were you thinking about just now? Gorgodon eating my brain, Sophie told her. She knew it wasn't the answer Lady Zillah wanted, but her head hurt and her hand hurt and everyone was staring at her like she was some fragile vase with a huge crack in the middle. And she was starting to worry that they were right. And somehow it made her feel better, just being a little bit difficult. She wondered if that was Keith's motivation. Okay, Lady Zillah said through a drawn-out sigh. What about before the headache flared? Why does it matter? Sophie countered. Because I think I might understand what's happening. But if you don't like cooperating... Sophie sighed. I was thinking about one of my nightmares. The same nightmare you had while Tam was attempting to quiet your echoes, Lady Zillah clarified. Sophie nodded, and even though she tried to block it, Amy's voice screamed through her brain again, each word a fresh stab. Then it's what I suspected, Lady Zillah murmured. The echoes have built a bridge between fear and pain. Am I supposed to know what that means? Sophie asked. I'd hoped you would, but I suppose it is an abstract concept, and it's possible I'm not choosing the best metaphor, but for now, let's go with it. She turned to pace, her white cape billowing behind her as she slowly crossed the healing center. You were afraid during the attack, weren't you? I'm sure we all would be, and the shadow flux fed on that fear. It also caused you a significant amount of pain as it carried out the orders it was given. So now, as far as the echoes are concerned, fear and pain are one and the same. And when something frightens you, like a nightmare, the echoes react and cause pain everywhere they touched. But it's a different kind of pain, a shadow of the trauma you experienced. Which is why you can't see it, she told Elwyn. The pain is grounded in darkness. You've probably even noticed that it looks dimmer where the echoes reside. Murkier, Elwyn agreed, placing a fresh silver cloth over Sophie's forehead. But I thought you said the pain wasn't real. I was wrong. It shouldn't be real. And if the echoes were simply echoes, it wouldn't be. But shadow flux can cause change. And in Sophie's case, that change gives the echoes more power. Enough to drag her fears to a place where they become actual physical pain. Maybe that's a better metaphor. Not a bridge, but a bully, preying on her trauma. Sounds a bit like a monster, Magnate Lito noted, with a meaningful glance at Sophie. But the question is, how do we tame it? Lady Zillah shook her head. We don't. I can do nothing. And the echoes resisted Tam's attempts to soothe them. And I'm not trying again, Tam added from the shadows. You shouldn't, Lady Zillah agreed. Not until you've overcome your own trepidation. The echoes won't respond to someone timid, someone doubting themselves. They want someone confident, relentless, the person who commanded the shadow flux. But I didn't command it. You did. You showed it. You were more determined, more resourceful than it could ever be, and it bent to your will in response. You must find that part of yourself again for the training we have ahead. And I'm not letting you back out of that, in case that's what you're thinking. If anything, the strength of those echoes proves how vital this power may someday be. There's greatness in you, Tam, but it will never amount to anything unless you embrace it. Tam looked away. Lynn crossed the room to stand beside him, whispering something in his ear. Okay, Adeline said, breaking the silence. So, how do we fix this? We wait for the echoes to fade, Lady Zillah told her. That's all we can do. Something inside Sophie shriveled, and Adeline sounded just as deflated when she said, And in the meantime, every nightmare's going to cause Sophie pain and slow her recovery? I doubt it will happen with every nightmare, Lady Zillah said quietly. But you're right that she'll need to be careful. She'll need to focus on positive thoughts while she's awake, and when it's time to sleep, I'm sure Elwyn has plenty of sedatives. And there it was. Something that shouldn't be a huge thing. It wasn't like Sophie hadn't occasionally taken sedatives over the last few years, but it felt like another victory for the Never-Seen. They might as well have been there, pressing a drugged cloth over her nose. "We could try somnolene," Adeline suggested. "That helped you after Oblivimir." "Maybe," Sophie mumbled. Somehow she doubted the shimmering eye drops would keep the monsters at bay. "Is Fitz going to have the same problem?" Lynn asked, and shame twisted Sophie's insides. She should have been the one to ask that question. Should have been thinking about someone besides herself. "His echoes are weaker," Lady Zilla reminded them, "and it isn't near his mind." "No, it's near his heart," Sophie argued. "It is," Lady Zilla agreed, moving to Fitz's side and waving her hand over his chest. "I wish I could tell you how that's going to affect him, but I truly don't know. My best advice would be to keep him sedated until the echo fades." Ellen sighed. "I was thinking the same thing." "I'll do some research on Shadowflux as well," Magnate Leto told them, which seemed to end the conversation. The others were soon gone, and Sophie spent the rest of the afternoon focusing on one task at a time, letting Adeline help her bathe and change, slurping down a bowl of bland broth, chugging a dozen different elixirs, including the marrow regenerator Elwyn had made for Sandor, which tasted like liquefied dead things mixed with rotten bananas. She was on her second bottle of lushberry juice, still trying to wash the taste away, when Elwyn set one more vial in her lap. A hot pink elixir that Sophie remembered taking once before. "You need happy dreams, right?" he said. "You won't get happier than that." She wouldn't. She'd be in for a long night of sparkles and rainbows and dancing animals. "But it is a sedative," Elwyn added gently, "so if you'd rather not, we can try somnolene first." "No pressure," Adeline added. "It's your call." She glanced at Fitz, still curled up peacefully with Mr. Snuggles nestled under his chin, totally oblivious to Shadowflux and echoes. And she thought about the monster, and her sister's panicked screams, and all the other voices haunting her nightmares. And she took the sedative.